What if you replace the oceans with lava? Let's suppose that in an act of either divine chaos or peak theoretical curiosity, every drop of water in Earth's oceans suddenly and magically transformed into lava. Not over time, not gradually bubbling up from beneath the crust, just instantly. Poof! Water becomes molten rock. All 1.4 billion cubic kilometers of it. The first thing to know is Earth doesn't handle that well. Within the first milliseconds, the entire planet would experience a shockwave of unimaginable destruction. Lava isn't just hot, it's stupidly hot. Depending on the type, lava usually ranges from 1,300 to 2,200 degrees Celsius. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Human skin starts to burn at just over 50 degrees Celsius. Lava would flash vaporize not just the air above it, but also anything remotely alive near a former coastline. The seafloor, usually a cold, high pressure place, would suddenly become a turbulent, glowing furnace. It would be like setting your freezer on fire from the inside. Now, let's talk atmosphere. The oceans play a major role in regulating Earth's climate. They absorb carbon dioxide, store heat, and redistribute energy around the globe. If you replace them with lava, you lose that buffering system. Instead, the atmosphere gets heated from below by an endless molten sea. Global temperatures would spike, not just by a few degrees, but potentially by hundreds. Winds would turn chaotic. Pressure systems would go haywire. The jet stream would collapse into confusion, and weather, as we know it, would cease to exist. Rain? Gone. Storms? Also gone. But not in a good way. Instead, you get superheated winds and scorching convection currents that peel the paint off buildings from orbit. The continents, by the way, wouldn't stay untouched for long. Lava is dense, about 3 times heavier than water. That much mass suddenly pressing against continental shelves would cause massive crustal deformations. Imagine tectonic plates buckling inward under the sheer weight of an ocean of fire. Coastlines would crumble. Entire cities would sink. Volcanoes would erupt, not out of pressure from the mantle, but because their neighbors just moved in uninvited. Marine life? Extinct in a flash. Land animals? Most would never get the chance to flee. Birds might survive a few days longer, until the air currents became too unstable to support flight. Eventually, even underground creatures would be cooked by the planet's skyrocketing surface temperature. The only survivors might be a few tardigrades, some bacteria hiding deep in the Earth's crust, and the cockroach union, though even they might send in a formal complaint. But what about the long-term effects? Well, the Earth would gradually begin to look like a young Venus. The oceans, once blue and calming, are now rivers of molten rock stretching between superheated land masses. Over time, volcanic gases like sulfur dioxide would blanket the planet, combining with water vapor, what little is left, to form acid-laced clouds. Not that you'd notice, because you'd already be a fine mist of carbon atoms. Oddly enough, this fiery new Earth might settle into a new thermal equilibrium after a few centuries. The surface would be scorched, but a balance might be struck between incoming solar radiation and outgoing thermal energy. Lava would eventually cool and solidify at the surface, forming a new crust, a vast, barren desert of basalt and obsidian. But that's if the planet doesn't simply crack apart first. And here's a fun side note. Earth's rotation might be affected too. All that extra lava mass would shift the planet's moment of inertia. The day might become slightly longer or shorter. Seasons could warp. Earthquakes would become frequent as the planet tries to adjust to its new, heavier coating. Eventually, some future alien species might stumble upon the charred remains of our planet. They'd fly over its jagged black seas and wonder what cataclysm wiped out a civilization that built satellites, megacities, and pop songs about summer. They might find fossilized surfboards, melted vending machines, and one surprisingly intact no swimming sign sticking out of the lava rock. A fitting memorial. In the end, replacing the oceans with lava wouldn't just destroy life. It would unmake the Earth as we know it. Every natural system, from climate to geology to biology, would collapse in fiery chaos. So next time you complain about the rain or a soggy beach towel, maybe remember things could always be hotter. Much, much hotter.